There's a criticism I've come across in life, not of myself, but of people, that's sometimes used, and it goes something like, "Oh, you're pushing your peas around the plate." That's an analogy that didn't really make sense to me when I was young. I mean, what has that got to do? What do peas have to do with anything? And how is that a negative in my life? I think as I grew up, I started to understand that that meant something like coasting, like moving the little things in your life around to pretend like you're changing, like you're growing, like you're new. But all the while, you're the same. And that criticism, whilst seemingly playful in its comparison to peas, is something that I think cuts quite deep. I think it's quite a serious criticism, because I think if you're not changing constantly, what are you doing? So I thought about that. I thought about, am I pushing my peas around the plate? And I'm absolutely guilty of it. I've done it many times throughout my life. Procrastinating really is the definition of pushing your peas around the plate. I mean, pretending to be busy or making yourself busy so that you don't have to get to something that maybe makes you feel a bit anxious, something that, maybe it makes you feel anxious because it's important, maybe there's a risk there. You don't want to go for it, so, I'll go on a run instead. I've done that. I've done that so many times throughout my life, but when this analogy was introduced to me as a sort of criticism that people use, it made me think, okay, well, can I change the way that I approach the big things that I want to do, the changes that I want to see in myself and the person that I want to become? Can I stop pushing my peas around the plate? And I think what that meant is, well, first identify what you'd quite like the plate to look like. I mean, I think if you follow the analogy, the ideal life is adding more peas on, as many as you can fit, so you have a full life of experiences or friends or family or, whatever it is you desire. I can understand that. And there was a complexity, I think, that came with that. So many peas to push around, so many plates spinning. And that sat well with the ambitions that I had as a teenager. I wanted to have a complex, fast-paced life, to tackle big challenges. And so the idea of adding more and adding more felt like the thing that I wanted to do. But I think where that left me, and I continue to do so, I mean, I kept taking on more responsibilities, more challenges. I kept doing the things that I would have wanted to do. I was doing the full-time job, I was volunteering on the side, I was so busy with however many activities, all thinking that they were building to something, and many of them did make me happy, but that complexity sometimes became a bit too much to push around, a bit too much to manage. And so I reassessed that, and well, I came to the conclusion that what I really want out of all of this is not a really busy plate, or to be seen to be busy, to come across these big challenges and deal with them at such a fast pace with so many people involved. That there is a great honor in that, and I completely enjoy those pursuits, but I realize that also there's merit in sometimes, and to follow the analogy, removing peas from the plate, making your life a little bit more simple, a little bit less complex, because in chasing that complexity and adding more and adding more, I found myself at times getting quite burnt out. Sometimes I felt quite overwhelmed or stressed with the amount of plates I had spinning. So I guess audit is too formal a phrase, but I started to assess each thing in my life, and if it's something that added to what I wanted, it added to my happiness. And so gradually you remove bits and pieces. I'm thinking, for example, of the dedication that I had to the gym and working out and building a physique, and I was so into, nutrition and making sure that everything was dialed in and disciplined to reach that aim. But I don't really care about that, to be honest. And I was chasing something that looked really impressive, and it looked like that sort of plate with those peas stacked really high. Oh, how can he go to the gym 6 times a week and have a full-time job and be really social and volunteer and da, 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 da. But did I actually want or care about that physique? I mean, yes, I wanted it, but I didn't really care. So I've not stopped going, but I've stopped investing so much mental effort into it. I've stopped tracking every calorie. I've stopped I've stopped prioritizing it so much, and I've stopped neglecting the other things in my life that are important, like those friends and family and other pursuits, new things that come in that maybe weren't there before, but now with the flexibility of not being so disciplined and rigid, really, in that pursuit, I'm not able to go after that new thing. So whilst to my teenage brain, the act of, removing things felt counterintuitive, it actually added so much to my life.